So, Coach, you're the new guy in town, kind of here, defensive coach. What made you want to come to ISU?
Well, home. I grew up around here. I'm an Eastern Idaho guy, so being able to come home was something I could never fault anybody for. And then, between the administration here and Coach Hawkins, they've made my life better in every single way. So it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up on. It's been such a blessing to be here. I don't wish to be anywhere else.
And being a defensive guy, I was a defensive guy. It's tough when you don't got the pads on out there. What have we seen out of your defense for the second practice here now?
Well, today I was really excited. They came out with a lot of passion and energy. It started with some of our drills, and they're running the ball hard. Starting to get that mindset that you have to be a dominant defensive player. And then at the end of practice, winning the competition kind of cemented it. So a lot of energy and juice, excited for that. Now we got to see, are we tough guys? We're going to be soft and when the pads get on.
Yeah, speaking of the pads, they're going on tomorrow. What's going to be different once the pads get on? What are you guys going to work on the defensive side there?
Well, it really just exposes you. Are you a tough guy or are you a coward? I mean, it's not human nature to want to go run into somebody full speed with your body. I mean, that's not the way it was intended to be. And so you've got to train that into you. All great defensive players have to have a little bit of a screw loose. And so we got to figure out which ones, are too tight or which ones are loose enough. So,
Coach, as a new addition to the Bengals, a lot of people were wondering, what you were going to bring to the table. Just give us a little overview of maybe what your coaching philosophy is for this defense this year.
Oh, coaching philosophy, I believe in servant leadership. You got to take care of the guys. It's always about the players. When they feel like we're putting them in the best position to succeed, then then they're going to run through a wall for us, and they're going to be confident in what they do. We want to make sure that they're feeling like they're empowered to have some control of their success. A lot of things in college football now are really controlled and micromanaged by the coaches, and sometimes players don't feel like they can really blossom and become themselves. So I don't ever want to have them feel like they're hindered that way in any way, shape, or form. But really just want them to feel like they can cut loose. We can play fast, physical, violent. At the end of the day, I always remind them it's football. It's a boys' sport. We're trying to get a ball past a line. Right? It's not rocket science. We're not curing cancer. There's not that much on stake. We got to go out and we got to do things the right way, and good things always happen.
And for people who aren't familiar with your defensive style at Weber State and your other stops, what kind of defense do you particularly run? Not asking for playbook or anything like that, but what kind of style of defense do you like to run, Coach?
Well, I want to be aggressive. We want to be able to, again, I allude to it's a simple game. You want to put one more guy on defense in the box than the offense has to block. That way, you can tackle the running back. And then we want to be multiple in coverages so that the quarterbacks just can't sit back there and know exactly what they want to do with the ball. Quarterbacks are better coached than ever right now. They see so many things. They play so much more football as a young and 7-on-7 and things like that. And so they do a really good job deciphering the defensive coverages. So we got to do multiple things there to keep them confused. We're going to get into multiple fronts and back end stuff. Again, it's all just a farce, kind of smoke and mirrors, keeping it simple for our guys, taking something complex and then just making layers of it that look different to the offense.
Coach, with all the shifting offenses that we come across, a lot of offenses, they don't just run one offense. Mm-hmm. As a defensive coordinator, what do you do to be able to make those adjustments as the game goes on, aside from maybe your initial game plan?
Oh, you rely on a great staff and a bunch of guys that I hired. I wanted to make sure that the other guys that I hired weren't a part of the system that I've been a part of my whole life, because you just get, new feeling and new ideas that come in. And so you rely on a great staff, of which I've got awesome guys, and you'll come up with solutions. A lot of stuff in football is stealing from someone else. You say, hey, it worked 3 weeks ago against this team, so we're going to add it, to our repertoire and try to make it be a part of us. And you can't be stuck in your ways. It changes so fast, like you were alluding to, that what you did 3 years ago that worked might not work. And then again, I talked about earlier, it's about the players, right? One player does something really, really well. We want to make sure that he's doing what he does best most of the time, and usually good things will happen.
Coach, who are some players that the Bengal fans should watch out for? And then who do you think is maybe a dark horse on the defense?
Gotcha. Well, the two that come quickly to mind are Mason Young and Nathan Reynolds, preseason all-conference guys. We expect a lot out of them. They've played a lot of football for us. We have a relatively inexperienced group as far as number of reps at Idaho State, but, everybody was a rookie at some point, the great ones included. So we've got to do a great job of coaching them to get better. Those two, we're going to put a lot on. Right now, I think Maka Tuakoi is a guy that we're expecting a lot of. Was his first year last year, kind of getting his feet wet a little bit. But he's a guy that's impressed me through spring and this summer. So I'd kind of put my hat on him right now.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Okay.